big mass figure. It had horns. This is where my body gravitated.
I saw this chick literally go through the car as we drive through, like spiritually.
That man sitting on the bed the night before.
The blue light flashed in front of our eyes.
Take a walk with me to the dark side, where the spirits are archived on the far side. Shadows with dark eyes and creatures that tell lies.
And there was a rocking chair, and it would rock by itself.
It's got some funky shit going on in it.
Very scary. It felt like someone was watching us the entire time we were walking. I hear this low pitch.
What's up, guys? I am Sunray, your host for Let's Talk Ghosts. Sorry, I'm not used to going live, so blah blah blah. Today I have an awesome guest with me today, so I'm gonna bring her on screen. Let's welcome Saben.
Hi, friends.
What's
I'm
up?
Saben. I'm an artist. I'm a singer rapper from Kansas City, and I happen to have ghost stories.
Woohoo! Well, that's
All of
perfect
them
because that was
true.
gonna be
Yay!
my first question was to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh
So,
yeah, I'm a singer and rapper. I'm from Kansas City. uh, I'm a co-host on Happy Days Entertainment. I've gone on tour. I've traveled like to several different states, and like I make music. And most of my music. So here's the fun thing: is like most of my music is like actually like if you listen, there's like life lessons and a lot of spirituality if you pay attention to the. You know, obviously you can't get canceled.
well, that's really awesome that you have incorporated spirituality into your music. So let's get to it. Tell me some of your spooky, creepy stories. Lay it out for
Oh
us.
God, we're gonna. So do we start at the beginning of the first time that I dealt with stuff, or
You know,
do we like just dive
it's
right in?
it's wherever you want to start your story.
Okay, so I never really thought like people had like them ghost stories and stuff. I never really thought like too much about it, but like I've always like had like a little bit of a connection with the other realm. Like when I was a kid, I don't know who it was. Like she used to like, and you guys are literally gonna think I'm crazy, but I promise you, I will not lie to you. I will not lie to you. So like when I was a kid, like I used to have these really bad nightmares, and I thought that they were just dreams. And like when I was growing up, we went to church, we were Christian and stuff. So it was like I'd be like, "Mom, help me get rid of these nightmares," and she'd like pray and pray. And the time that she finally got them to go away was when she said, "God, please help her not see this and that." So like when she said see, because it didn't have to do as much with nightmares, because I didn't know that I was astral traveling at that time, or
Oh.
like whatever, like it was like it was strange. I don't even know how to explain it, and it's really hard because like obviously your memories when you're young, like I can just tell you guys like what I know for sure. So like I remember being super young, and there was like this girl, she used to come and like help me out because it was like, I don't know, my parents were musicians, and like I didn't really know how to life yet. I was like a kid and shit, and I didn't have like I didn't have like siblings that lived with me or anything. So like I didn't know how to life, and she would like come in my room at night, and she would like it was like Peter Pan and Wendy, where they just like fly up in the sky, and she'd like fly me up to the attic and stuff, and like show me all the scary things and help me get through it, and like it was fun. So she was like older cousin energy,
That
and
is that's crazy. So you've astral traveled since you were little. Have you ever had like a scary experience with it?
so the thing is like I don't like. I think that maybe. So it was not until like the movie Insidious came out that I realized that I had even gone through that.
Mhm.
Well, actually, it was even later than that because I didn't really like. I thought I was just dreaming, so I really didn't know. Like, I just remember being a kid and being like jumping off my slide and being like, "What? Like, why can't I not fly?" Like, I remember flying, and I would be so mad, and I would go to the highest points of anything. I would jump off these ledges and stuff because I'm like, I remember flying, and I was just really kind of confused because I knew that there was more to my life than like what I could see. So like
Mhm.
I just like it was probably like maybe in the last like 3 years that I've even realized that like, oh, these things correspond to each other.
Wow. That I've tried to astral travel once and I got pushed back into my body and I've never tried it again. But I do think I kind of astral travel late at night because, like, I've fallen asleep watching TV, and my
Mhm.
wife, Jessie, she'll wake me up and be like, "You're sleeping." And I'm like, "No, I wasn't. Like, I know exactly what this is the exact scene that just happened. I'm not sleeping." And she's like, "No, you were snoring." And I'm like, "But
Mhm.
how do I know what's happening on the TV?" So it's like my body falls asleep, but I'm still right there.
Yes, okay, so that is actually so okay, let me say because when I first started doing it as an adult, because like I wanted to learn like magic and how to like meditate properly and how to like get in touch with my higher self. So I started like my friend was learning how to astral travel because like she had like a deceased kid or something, and she wanted to like go see this kid in another dimension. So like she was learning it for that, and then she like would share all of her books with me, and I'm like, okay, well I want to learn it like so I can just be better as a person. And when I started doing it, I like the times when I would when I had my first travels as an adult that I can remember that I actually knew was something was like I was like I did my studio time, like I'd go record music, da da da, I do my producer thing, and then I come back and I lay on the couch and I would be like, okay, I'm gonna take like a 15-minute nap. They're like, Saben, you can't take a 15-minute nap. I'm like, yes, I can. So like I love to take conscious naps where it's like I know that I'm napping while I'm napping, but like the one that I remember most distinctly, the like those flash frames, like
Yeah.
if you're like watching a movie or whatever. It was
Mhm.
like that, but it was like different scenes, and but you could feel it. And I fell down an escalator, and like my body felt it. It was like like that, and
Wow.
I'm like, I was like, maybe I should stop reading these books about astral travel because that was a little intense.
So that experience right there honestly reminds me of salvia. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've always been told I'd be like a really good candidate for it because I'd be hilarious on it, but I've never
Oh
tried it.
man. Well, salvia, it's like a knockoff spice version of weed, and back in the day people used to smoke it, blah blah blah, whatever. Well, it can
Mhm.
make you hallucinate, and I tried it a couple of times and I hallucinated, and they were experiences like that. Like the flashes. And then I even remember one time I told my friend she was a page in my storybook because it looked like pages were flipping.
Uh-huh.
It was wild.
I've never done salvia. Like, I think that like obviously I would probably like scream and do all the things that they do on those YouTube videos, but at the same time, like for life XP and experience points, like I'd be down. Like, what was salvia was like popular in what like 2010 or something?
Um yeah,
Yeah, it was like 10 years. Or wait,
that's like
oh, that's
10
like
years
14
ago.
years. Damn.
Yeah. Let's not age us.
Okay, so
We're not
anyway,
old.
oh,
Yeah.
Christina says she remembers flying too. Oh my god. Oh my god. So like seriously, like I used to climb up this slide and I would jump down and like it was so irritating to me. I was a good kid and stuff, and I would go like do whatever kid stuff, but like I would just be like bro, like in my mind, I'm like I know that I can fly, and I would go as high as I could, and I just couldn't do it, and it was so confusing to me.
See
You
that
didn't
that
know how to
right
life yet.
there,
How old were you? Were you like 5? Hey,
but
how
that
are
right
you?
there it tells me right now, like this is exactly why I do this podcast, because you just shared that experience and you're like, I swear I'm not crazy. I would never lie to you, and boom, somebody else has experienced it too. You validated them.
That's wild because, like, I always have I don't talk about these experiences because it's like, anytime it's like, oh my God, I just went through something. And I'm like, I need to talk to somebody. And it's like whoever, like, I have to trust to talk to, it's like, they're like, that's good. They don't understand.
Well, and we're conditioned to fear it. We're conditioned to not understand it, that it's a bad thing. So we're breaking those. So tell me some more of your experiences and stories.
So let's see. The next experience I remember after that was like, I thought it was a nightmare also, but like I remember walking up to my room because we had like a two-story house when I was growing up, and I walk into my room and there's just a bunch of like New York mobsters like playing cards at a table, and and like I was scared and I just got in my bed and I tried to walk down the hall and there's like all these like gangsters and shit, and like it was scary, but like they were kind. It was like they didn't hurt me. They didn't really they didn't really get up from the table. They didn't do anything to hurt me. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, I don't know why the New York mob was in my room, but then like I talked to my dad later. No, I like this was like a year ago. I talked to my dad and he was telling me the story, and I was like, wait, you used to run cars for this New York mob guy? And I said, what did he look like? And he told me, and I was like, that's the guy I used to see in my dreams. And he described him. I said, and I was like, tell me what he looks like. And he told me, and I was like, did he sit at this side of the table?
Wow.
And was he the one that did this and that? And I was like, I was like, that's who used to be in my room. He was like, oh wow. Like, and then I'd be asking my dad, I'm like, do you know like what's spiritually going on like what's going on with me? Like, I had to
Wow.
have got it from you because that's kind of crazy.
Sounds
But I
like
used
you
to like I'd
really
walk
had
down the
it.
hallway and there'd be like these people just like on either side. It was like the farther from Insidious, right? Except it was with New York mobsters where they're just like on the right and left of the banister, and it's like, oh well, I just want to go downstairs and get some water.
Wow. How old were you when this happened?
It's hard to because my parents were in bands when I was growing up, so like they had like I used to like go. I would wake up and they'd be doing the band stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh, who's sleeping on the couch?" I go downstairs, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's our new drummer, or that's our electric guitar player, or something." You know what I mean? Like that was, or our producer, or something. They used to have like parties and stuff, and then they decided that the parties were like they were like, well, if they're doing more than smoking weed, then they got to get out because we have a kid. So that's cool. Like I appreciate that from them. But like it was just kind of normal. I don't know, but them dreams were weird. But the dreams weren't dreams though. It was actually astral travel. Like I found that out way later. To find out that that was the same table that my dad used to sit at when he used to like run cars in New York when he was 16. I was like, well, why were they in my room?
Right.
Like
Well,
I
I
feel like there's like some unfinished business or some like karmic debt.
yeah, or what is it? Repetitive hauntings where it just keeps going. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just repetitive, like an autoplay. So Jesse asked
That can't be a thing. That like there's generational curses and there's karmic debt,
Mhm.
but like you just have to figure out like the algorithm. It's like figuring out anything else. Like you have to figure out like what am I supposed to do that the last generation didn't do. Like
Right.
there's something that generationally has not been gotten right,
I agree.
and that's a big purpose of mine. Is once I've started to realize this recently, is like, oh well, I have to fix whatever this is.
It's good to have that perspective so that you're constantly learning and growing and, moving on from the things from your past lives and stuff like that. So Jesse's got a question from you for
Ooh.
you. What's the scariest thing you've ever experienced? even if it's not ghost related.
Um, I probably don't have one. Let's see. I'm not really good at being scared when I need to be scared because I've just dealt with so much. Just not like I've like not I wasn't one of those like kids that was like hit or traumatized or anything. It's just like I've gone through so much spiritually and what was the question? Scariest thing I've ever experienced?
Hmm.
Did she say when it's not ghost related?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be ghost related.
Hmm. That's a good question. Well, if it's not ghost related, it's probably when I lived in Arizona and I got poisoned, and then I wasn't sure what was actually going on and things like that. And then I had to get home and I had no money. But it actually was kind of ghost related because I did get haunted during that time. Um, Damn, that sounds so like I didn't realize that till later either because it's like you deal with things that are like if you're attuned to the supernatural, sometimes it's like you disconnect to the point where it's like you're able to function in real life and be a normal person. Because when y'all see me on everything else, I don't be talking crazy like this most of the time, unless I'm joking. So it's like you disconnect from the things that you maybe know. You go to the doctor and they're like, hey, let's do all the tests. And they're like, yeah, you're not crazy. You just have ADHD. And I'm like, are you positive? And they're like, yes. And you go to 5 different other ones, and yeah, they're all positive. You only have ADHD. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I'm like, well, that part. So it's, they don't want me to speak about it.
That's okay. Sometimes spirits,
No, but it's like I don't like they're evil. Like, why would I want to protect evil spirits?
they have very high energy and can manipulate and control a lot of like
Yeah,
technology, and then they can also make our bodies feel certain things so that we can't speak right or get right things out.
God, I've dealt with so much, but yeah, know that this happens, and okay, so here's one of the points is like, I think that my ADHD is actually not as bad as it. Like, I dealt with some spiritual stuff recently, and it got it out, but I know that there's still something that's lingering,
Mhm.
and just like being attuned to the stuff, like I said, like they don't want me to talk, they don't want me to be able to speak my truth. And it's almost like how the Illuminati doesn't want you to say certain things, right?
Mhm.
But wait, is that a keyword that's gonna get us in trouble?
No,
Okay, cool.
it shouldn't be. So I'm gonna try to send you
Yeah,
some
so
images.
yeah, sometimes I have trouble when I get to this point because it's like it starts just giving me anxiety, but I need to be able to speak up on the truths. So the next time I saw a spirit or whatever was I was like 13. And one of my friends that I was in school with, like we all played basketball together, and like I really liked her. She was so cool. She was so kind, and like I didn't know that she had like health issues, and like she died when we were like 13. And I was like in my room, and I was just like crying, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, I was like writing in my journal and shit. And she like appeared in my room, and that was the first time that I like just saw something like that. It was like I was like, oh, hey Katie, and she's like, Saben, I didn't know you cared so much. And I was thinking like this looks like something that happens like on Scooby-Doo or like one of them like old cartoons, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I actually still have the paper where I wrote that down, and that was cool. She's like, I didn't know you cared so much, and she thanked me, and I haven't seen her since, but like I thought that was really awesome. She was
That
like
is
our star
really
player on the
awesome.
basketball team. It was a great experience.
You
Like, it
you
didn't seem abnormal to me. Like, I just wrote it down because I was like, "Oh, noted." Like seeing the Grand Canyon. A friend visited me in my room.
hmm It sounds like you really do have a lot of gifts, and that could definitely play into your ADD and your ADHD. Just feeling a lot of high energies and stuff. I think a lot of like a little bit more meditation and grounding will really help center you a little bit more.
One of the problems that I've been having recently, because I used to be really good at meditation, like when I said that I met that girl that showed me the books on astral travel, and like I learned to do really good at meditation. But lately, I've had tinnitus in my ears, and uh, everything in my mind is just telling me right now that that's spiritual as well.
It very well could be, especially
And
if you notice a pattern with it.
well, it doesn't want me to create because I speak my truth through my music.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
And
you
that's
would
kind
believe
of it,
in
you know,
it.
like it tries to take my voice. That's like how you hear me trying to say things and I stutter. Like I have no reason to be stuttering.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm smart and I don't have any reason to do it, but like there's
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling like I feel like my mind has anxiety but my body doesn't or something like that. Like I feel fine.
Because I'm sending you
Like
some energy right now.
okay.
So,
Being empathic can also cause anxiety and troubles with focus. Yeah, I have that problem.
definitely.
Ask about the gifts. Oh shit. Do you
So
want to
that's,
go that deep already?
well, I popped up a question on the screen before
Was
we
it
lost
oh,
it.
what's one experience that caused you to really believe in your spiritual or paranormal aspects? Okay, so this probably like this won't be like the well, we're just gonna go with this one. So like there's one time like so when I was with my ex, like he messed with demons and stuff and like I had a whole like problem with drugs and I've been clean for like 6 years. But when him and I got together and then we both went to jail and he hadn't even seen his mom in like years or whatever, but like she came to visit me in jail. She's like a Jehovah's Witness and she came into jail and she came to visit me. She's like, "Do you want to talk about God?" And I was like, "Well, sure, let's talk about God." And she's like, do you know that my son messes with demons?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And like he was like trying to get his life together. I don't know. Long story short, um, it was way more real than I could ever think because like we got our life together, things went really well. We went through a lot of crazy things and we can backtrack to those experiences if we need to. But there was one experience when uh I remember I pulled up to the house and it was like right when we were breaking up at the end. After things went really good and really bad. And his nickname was Red because he like always wore red. And I don't know, like I found out later that because his energy is red. His energy is very red. It felt like the fog. Like I don't think I've even watched the movie or read the book, but if you could think of the fog, that's what his energy would be when it was bad. He messed with demons, and I didn't really know how true all of that stuff was at this point in my adult life. And uh, one day I pulled up at the house and like I said, so if I'm 6 years sober, I probably would have been like 4 years sober off of drugs and stuff. And you know, nothing like mentally. And I pull up in my car and I see him walk out of the house, and there he is, this tall, skinny, uh, guy with his red hat on and his red shirt, and he walks around the house. But he looks like if you had your video game character and you just didn't really like move them this way, and they're just kind of like this, and they're kind of like zombified, so they're kind of like.
Mm.
Like he's like zombified around the building, and I'm just sitting in the car and I'm watching him. I'm like, because like I'm supposed to be giving him like a ride to somewhere, and I'm like, I watch him. I'm like, that's really strange. He walked around the building. He walked back around the building. He walked in the door and closed the door because I thought he was gonna come out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, huh. And I'm looking, and the light in his office is still on. And finally, I wait like 10 minutes, and I walk inside, and I was like, "The fuck were you doing out there?" I said, "Why'd you look like a fucking idiot, like running into the wall while you're walking like a zombie and shit?" And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I look down at him, and he's still got his vest on from work, and his bright yellow shirt, and his work jeans. He doesn't have red. He doesn't have a hat. His hair wasn't done. He's still wearing his work clothes. And I said, "What were you doing out there doing all that?" And he goes, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I've been in here on the computer the whole time." I said, "No, I just seen you walk around the building." And he's like, "No, I've been in here." And I looked at his clothes and I'm like, I said, "You need to get a hold of your demon because
Wow.
I just seen your demon just walk around the entire house, and I don't want to be around here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving because." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "You know that you mess with dark shit." And he's like, "Well, no, I don't do that shit. Well, like maybe you don't anymore, but he used to."
And it's still
Like I don't
dangerous.
know. I was never with him when he did. Like I don't know. I never seen it, but so I never really understood. But this shit was fucking crazy.
Sounds like you saw his doppelganger.
Yeah, exactly what it was.
Mhm.
Exactly. It was like his doppelganger demon. Like
And it's a good thing you didn't approach it or try to communicate with it.
why?
I'm not 100% sure. It's something I really need to look into, but they always say if you see it, your doppelganger, or you see somebody else's doppelganger, to not interact with it because it'll start to follow you. And I'm not quite sure what the rest of
Oh,
it is.
that makes sense because he used to have his demons follow him because they helped him find things or whatever. He had some really strange philosophy about life, and it really scared me. And then when I saw it like actually happening, I was like, ooh, all the good things that happened. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna like let's just let it all burn down and go.
So I
Oh
think this
God,
is a
there's so
good
much,
question.
huh?
I, I think this is a good question to add. What is something you want to learn in your spiritual journey?
Well, at first, like, I wanted to just, like, have that, like, love and light spiritual energy where I could ascend to the next dimension and all that stuff, where it's like, oh, well, now, like, I learned everything I needed. And, um, and then I, tried all that, and, and apparently it's way more painful than it sounds like. It looks pretty, but it's not pretty. So basically, I'm in too deep at this point. So like, I just kind of want to share my experience with other people through my music and through my stories, so like they can have the info that I didn't have because like I was going through the whole like spiritual enlightenment, scary and
Mhm.
exciting, and I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. Like I went online, like I tried to get a flight to India because I was like, where can I find a shaman?
Oh man.
Like I didn't know where to go. Like I was so,
I totally
we're gonna
get
have to
it.
do another episode.
Yeah, no, but and I totally understand because what you're talking about is like the shadow work of it and meeting your own demons and overcoming your own shit and facing your own traumas and stuff. And it is really painful. It is very painful and very scary. And, I even in some of my own shadow working stuff, like, for instance, right now, I'm stuck on a chapter because I don't want to answer it because it pisses me off every time I think about it. So like there are things on the road of enlightenment that people don't realize we have to go through. The things most people run from and avoid, we're facing head on. We're trying our best to deal with it and overcome our monsters.
The stuff on the like in the like human world of it or whatever is honestly sometimes like that is actually harder for me than the stuff on the spiritual realm because like when it cut like when we get into all the stories, if we want to do another episode for that, what do you guys think, audience? If we want to go through all the things, because I know I only have an hour, but if we want to go through all those things, um, you know, those like they're painful, and it's the stuff that most people won't go through. But when it comes to like the human things, it's like after I've already battled the spiritual stuff, the human stuff, it's just like, why should I have to do this too?
Yeah.
I've literally had to play Ghostbusters in the house, and he's like, oh, I know that, yeah, oh, I know the energy in there feels good, and I'm like, yeah, but there's like some like I'm actually dealing with something that's like a suicidal fucking
Hmm.
spirit that's not evil but makes you feel comfortable. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
is this what we're supposed to do on this show? Because I
yeah,
know
totally.
it doesn't sound normal, and it's strange to actually like. put this out in the universe.
You know, I definitely think me and you should get together and kind of organize some of your stories because it sounds like you've experienced a lot of different things
A
like I have.
lot.
And when you get asked, you know, on the spot like this, you're like, do you want my whole life story? I've dealt with demons, I've dealt with witches, I've dealt with cryptids, I've dealt with nightmare, sleep paralysis. I have
Oh
premonitions.
God.
You know, I can see your
Yes.
grandpa, and I can see the attachment that's on your grandpa. You know, like weird stuff like that. So maybe we should get together and kind of
Yeah.
organize it a little bit and have specific topics. So this question right here, which I'm really interested in knowing, let's get a
Huh?
little deep. I want to know a
Ooh.
little bit of some of your gifts. What are some of the things that you have identified about yourself that you have the ability to do?
So, it's kind of when spirit allows, basically, like, so I can be sitting here and like one of my homies is on the road or whatever, or like I don't know, we meet in a different state or something, and we're sitting down together and they're talking about their mom passed and they're really sad, and then like their mom has been wanting to talk to them forever, and they can't, they don't get the message, and their mom is like, hey, da, 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 like I trust you, can you tell my son or my daughter that this and that, and then I tell them, and it's like occasionally it's weird, but most of the time the people that I communicate for, like, we'll say 9 times out of 10, it's like they understand. It's like they knew that it was there, that it needed to like come through. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm able to help relay messages and let them know that when their loved ones are watching them. Like I obviously don't get like every, like I'm not like, oh, I can hear your auntie and your grandma. Like it's just whoever's trying to channel. It's like they're frustrated. It's a frustrated mom or auntie or father or something, and it's usually when they're frustrated that they can't like get through without a middleman, that they, and they're like, okay, well, you, like, I trust you, and they're like, hey, tell my kid this and that, and then we normally have like a little experience, whatever, and they're, and like I'm able to just like give them the message, and like I don't charge money for it, like I don't know, I guess you're supposed to, I guess, or something, but like it doesn't seem right, like I don't feel like I'm supposed to like charge money to just like deliver messages, and then I always feel bad. I'm like, don't shoot the messenger, like I'm just telling you. And sometimes they be funny. Sometimes they'll tell me like jokes and stuff that's like an inside joke, and then I'll be like, uh, so your dad said this or this, and then they laugh and they're like, oh my god, that's definitely him, and I'm like, I have no idea. Like I'm just like, I try to keep myself out of it because I'm just the messenger.
Mhm. And to
That's one of the things.
answer Jesse's question, I do believe that that is what you considered medium, being a medium. And being a
Oh
medium
yeah.
is being that middle ground between the living and the dead.
Yeah, but so like I will only, I don't so I think, some people, it's like they go like see a psychic or whatever, and they're like, can you communicate with my mom, and they're like, you know where's the spirit of this, or Ouija board or something like that. Like I'm not supposed to do that. I read tarot, but I literally only will, like, if I'm not getting the clear message, or if they tell me no, then I'm not,
Mhm.
no, like I don't ask. I wait for them to come to me
Yep.
usually.
Yeah, so there like if I'm channeling messages for people and it's just coming to me, you know, and we're just having a casual conversation like this and I'm like, "Oh, there's this guy here and this is what he looks like and this is what he's saying," you know. That's I don't charge for that, but when people come to me and they ask me to channel people directly, I charge the same price as I do for my tarot readings, but I also let them know like there is a possibility your family member, whoever you're reaching out to, will not come through. And there's multiple reasons for that. You know, it could be because they don't want to talk to me, they don't think you're ready, or they're still finding their footing where they're at. You know, there is a transition period from living to death. You know, there is that transition period. So they could still be in transition. And if they don't come through, I give them money back. I won't charge if nothing comes through. And I am very honest about what I see and what I feel. I think these psychics out there, that is so messed up to give somebody false hope on what's being on the other side just so that they can make $1. That's
Well,
messed up.
I think too many like tarot became too popular recently, I think, and so like everybody's like, oh, spiritual gifts, but like the people who don't realize like not everybody has like how she was asking about your spiritual gifts, like. Everybody doesn't have the same spiritual gifts. Some people may have 10 gifts. Some people might have one. That doesn't make you better or worse. You just own in on what works. And like I don't know, like I always have this thing where it's like I'll be like channeling like and like I feel bad for channeling. I don't know why. Like I feel guilty because I'm like, oh, I'm intruding on you guys, and like I know that if I'm not told that I should be doing it, that I'm just like I'm out. Like my cousin she'll be like, hey, can you let me know? And I'm like, ain't nobody trying to talk to me.
Hmm. Yeah, and sometimes we just know too, like sometimes you can tell when somebody isn't really ready to hear what they are asking to hear. And usually, like, my spirit team will be like, no, we're not doing this. You can ask again later or at a different time or never again, but we're not doing this right now.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who is the main like spirit that like follows you and helps you with your gifts?
I actually have 4 of them.
Okay,
Um,
because yeah, it felt big.
yeah, so I have my granny. When she was alive in life, we were super close, like we always told each other that we were soulmates because we were that close. And when she passed away, I had a really hard time. I had a really bad falling down. I went through a lot of stuff. And when I had my spiritual awakening, I realized that she's part of my spiritual team. We are soul family. We're together in every life, and we're always supporting each other spiritually and in the physical form. So she's one of my guides. I have Freya. I have Sarah Chaplin, who is a Jewish goddess, and then Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael hasn't verified it directly with me yet, and I haven't really pushed for it, but I've had a couple of other mediums tell me that my soul is a descendant of Archangel Michael.
Nice.
So I have
We're gonna have
very
to do like
powerful.
some. We're gonna have to do some sort of because there's stuff that it's hard for me to be able to tell all the things about myself,
Mhm.
but I'm able to see stuff with other people. So I'm gonna probably end up needing you.
Yeah, anytime. You can always
And
message
then you can ask me the same because like because I can do the other people's stuff.
me. So
Or
how
I
many
mean, if your people will let me, that is, I will not intrude.
my spirit team, we're pretty open. My spirit team, my path on this life is to help people heal, spread love, and see the truth. So if my spirit guides don't want to talk about it, then we're not really seeing the truth. So, how many are on your spirit team that you're aware of?
Well, so I had this dream. Well, like, so the one, so like, go back to that story when I was young, right? The one that I used to fly around with. Um, so I never was sure if she was good or bad. Like, she kind of guided me, but like, but then again, like, dark and light are the same, or like, same coin, different sides. So it's hard to tell. Like, so like, I don't know if she's like good or evil, or you would say, like angel, demon, whatever. But she's been with me for life, and I don't know. I had somebody tell me that she was still with me, and then I saw her and somebody else. It was like they were like two like little like they were still kids, like basically the age she would have been as when I was a kid, and then another one. And I woke up and I drew a picture of them. So I'm assuming those two. I don't know who the other one is. Um, could have been like my siblings who didn't actually get to be born, you know? Not
Mhm.
really sure who they are, but the first time that I spoke out loud to anybody who, like, besides, like, childhood and whatnot, was my Grammy when uh, I was like trying to get out of the relationship with the demon boy, and I'm like trying to figure stuff out, and like it's a full moon. I'm doing my whole little ritual thing and whatnot, being all witchy and good witch. Like oh well, here's like my sage and my crystals and my moon and my good music and everything. And she told me, she said, don't be like me and stay with a man who takes away from your creativity because he's going to be jealous of you and he's going to hold you down. Don't let him just give you a bunch of kids, like basically like don't let him give you a bunch of kids and hold you down and everything. Like you need to follow your creativity, you need to follow your dreams, because like every year on Christmas, my Grammy, when she was alive, she did arts and crafts. So like it'd be Christmas and she'd like make me a little angel thing out of like wood or like uh, beads and stuff. Like she would just make me an angel and send it to me every Christmas, and I used to not appreciate it. But I see now that like she was telling me that she was like gonna watch over me or something, and she told me not to let a man take control of my life and get wrapped into what she got wrapped in, because she had 6 kids
Mhm.
and in a bad relationship, and she didn't really get to go for her dreams. So like when she came to me and she was like, hey, like go towards your music, spread your message, your spiritual gifts and stuff, do that through your music. Like she basically confirmed everything. That was really cool. So like I know that she is there sometimes, and then whoever the little people are, I know that the girl is like there, but sometimes it's just like I just talk to spirit, and sometimes I don't know who I'm talking to. Like sometimes I have to ask,
Mhm.
but you have to like if you ask, you man. Yeah, I don't really know who is always following me, honestly.
That's interesting. I could help you identify them if you're ever interested. And
I absolutely am.
yeah, all right. Which this is gonna kind of answer these next two questions that are coming up. Christina, no, I definitely don't think it's terrible to not know who they are. I don't think a lot of people really know who their spiritual team is and has been able to identify as many of them. And sometimes spirit guides come and go. There's some that stay with you forever. My 4 guides have been with me for as long as I know. But sometimes they can come and go. And then Shelly, mom, I feel weird calling you Shelly. How do
Uh,
you find out if you have a team or helpers? So I'm gonna share this on this channel today. I thought about trying to make a guided meditation doing this. So if you want me to try to figure that out, let me know in the comments and I'll try to make one. But one of the ways to directly meet your spirit guide is you go into your meditation state. And once you're relaxed and you're meditating, you visualize a green grassy field and you start walking through that field. And when you start like feeling the grass and seeing the grass, you'll see a staircase in the middle of the field. And you're supposed to go and walk up that staircase. When you get to the top, it opens up to another field. And
oh,
in this field, there will be a big white house. You go up to that house, you knock on the door, and your spirit guides open the door. And that is how
oh,
I've met 2 out of 4 of my guides.
oh my God! I really need to do that. Like in my meditation, I've only gone down the tree and to the downstairs thing, and then I come out and I go into the grassy field and I met my tiger with wings, which is my spirit animal or something. Like every time it's a tiger with wings. That's all. That's what I get.
I've
But
never
I've never
heard
met the other people upstairs. I knew I was missing something.
I've never heard the one downstairs. Like this is I know that there's several different ways for people to do it. This just happens to be one of the ways I discovered it. The other the other two are a other long story.
It's
But
like
yeah,
you go
that's
down the
really
tree,
interesting.
it's like it's like a giant oak tree, and it's got all these branches and stuff, and then you slide down the oak tree, and it's like a slide that goes around, and then you slide down, and then it's like you go to this little cavern cave underneath, and it's like this little dark cave thingy, and it's got lights, and then there's like little potions and stuff, and then there might be somebody in there, but normally there's like if there is somebody in there, it's not relevant. So then it's not till I like come outside of the cave, go up the little stairwell, and then I go out to the grass that my tiger with wings is waiting, and then he wants to fly me around, and then I leave the meditation after that. Like I've
Yeah.
never gone to the upstairs. I need to meet those people.
Yes, that is
But
amazing. I'm
but
gonna
going down
try
the stair,
that.
like it's fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that one because I like in my happy place, in my meditation place, it's already a grassy field with a cave in it that I have all my potions in. So
You
that
haven't gone
that'll
in it
be.
yet?
I've been in my own cave, but I've never seen the oak tree and slid down the branches or anything like
Oh, the
that.
oak tree is right above the cave.
Oh, interesting. I'm very excited to
Oh,
explore a little bit.
I have almost like so like I've started to figure out like the way that I kind of figure out certain things. It's almost a reverse way of thinking. So like you went up the stairs, I went down the stairs, or I went down the tree, you went up the stairs. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
so sometimes you gotta look at things like in reverse order. Like it. Oh my God! So the one time I took ayahuasca, I went to Arkansas, and I took ayahuasca because spirit literally called me. Like I was like, I don't know, like I manifested a hippie, and he was like, "You need to meet Mother Ayahuasca," and I said, "What is that?" I don't know, and then, but he was right, and like when we took the stuff, and like I don't know, there was like probably like 50 of us or whatever, and like laying down, and I'm like laying down, and I'm like, listen to spirit. My ex is trying to like distract me. He's like, I don't even feel it, but he just came to get high on drugs, and like I was like I didn't even care about his energy. I'm just like, go the fuck away, because I was here for a spiritual experience, and I'm like laying down, and it's basically like the hangman card. It's what I've been told about the hangman card. Like, so you're like how the hangman card is upside down, and the reason the hangman is upside down is because that means he can see things from every angle. And that's what Spirit told me was like, I'm like laying one way, and he goes, okay, now turn around, or she, whatever Spirit is, they. So I turned around and I felt the universe from the other direction, and I got more messages that way. And then Spirit was like, okay, now turn the other two ways, basically like north, south, east, and west without saying it.
Hmm.
And then it was like I was able to get the whole picture. I was
Wow.
able to see things from every because there's things that you miss when you only look at them from one way. Like
Hmm.
pretend you're like looking at a map and you're like, here's north. But so you're so focused on north that you don't really see that there's south, east, and west. So like when Spirit was like turn, he said, or they said turn around, and I was like, what? Turn like no, physically turn around. That's what I was told. So I physically turned around, and I could feel the energy different. And I was like, huh. Like
Wow.
now, do you want to expand more? I'm like, yeah, okay. When I turn around this way, it's like sideways. And I was like, and then it was just like I had like I figured out so much after that. Like I was able to hear the messages that I couldn't hear before.
That's I like that. You've given me a couple of things that I want to go and explore and try out myself and see what happens. That's exciting. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, we got
Always.
like less than 10 minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us? Like have you ever had an experience that was just pure?
Pure?
Yeah, with spirit.
Let's see. Oh, that was like good, not like bad.
Mhm. Where you communicated and you felt at peace and you felt happy.
Oh, so like there was one time when I lived in Florida. Let's see, I was in like Pompano or Hollywood, and like I'm sitting at this picnic table, and I'm just like upset, and I'm questioning life and everything. I'm like living in my van in Florida and stuff, and like there's all these like exotic looking birds because it's like I don't know, Pompano, Florida, or Hollywood, Florida. I can't remember which one. It was one of those beaches. But like the beach is over here, and then like there's a little park on the other side of the of A1A, which is like the main highway that goes through the around the coast of Florida. And I'm just sitting there at the park, and I'm like journaling, and I'm trying to talk to my friend because like he's the only person I knew that was like spiritual at all at the time, and I'm just like, oh my god, what do I do? And I'm looking at these pretty birds and taking pictures of them, and I'm just writing in my journal, trying to do this like homework that, the last thing you talked to me about. And like, I'm just looking down at my notebook. I look back up, like I'm the only person at the park. And then the next thing I know, I look up, and there's this guy, and he walks out of this bath. Like there's like this, it's like one of those like porta potty bathroom thingies that they have at the parks, And he walks out, and I look at him, and he's got a white hat, white shirt, white pants, white cowboy boots. And he comes out, he walks out of the bathroom and just like immediately looks at me at the picture table and goes, "You!" And I'm like, wait, where did that car come from? Where did you come from? And he's like, "You! God wants to talk to you." And I'm like, first, where did you come from? And then he didn't actually know English besides that. That's the only words he knew in English. So like, he's like trying to translate it from Spanish. And I'm just like, trying to figure out what happened, but like basically all this stuff that I was like trying to figure out in my notebook, he came through like he's like, "Hey, like I'm the messenger for spirit," and he's like, "I'm sorry, my English is not good," but he gave me the messages, and I don't remember what they were, but it was what I needed to know right then, and it let me know that I was okay, and that like, the something about my gifts. I don't really remember what all it was, but it was important, and it was a beautiful experience. And then I just got to like hang out there with the pretty birds. And then he had to go, and then he drove off in his truck, and I was like, why was this guy like? Well, and also we're in a park, and it's right next to the beach, and he's wearing all white, and like his clothes are not stained, nothing. Like he didn't look like he was at the beach. Like who dresses in all white?
Wow.
It was really like, I mean, I've had strange experiences, but like, yeah, that was a nice one. It was really cool.
It sounds like you definitely had an experience with. I don't think he was a human necessarily, but if he had
Yeah,
been just a messenger or an angel, you definitely saw something.
yeah, like a angel prophet or something. But I don't know. Like I'm not as big with labels as I am with this is what it was meant to be. Because if I try to define it and be like, oh, was that this or this? Like no, like he came and did his purpose, whatever he was.
All right. Well, I totally do believe that too. Like I think a lot of different things are presented to us in different religious perspectives just based on what we kind of are feeling and needing and know of in that moment. But I do believe that they are all connected. I believe all religion is connected. We just call it something different. I call it the
Same.
universe. Some people call it the divine. Some people call it God. Some people call it Buddha. But it's all really the same with the same kind of message.
That's what I say, like, because I was raised Christian, So like God, that's why like when I talk to people about, I'm like the spirit, and I'm like AKA God, because like AKA the universe, If you want to call it the tree of life, if you want to call it like whatever you want to call it, like source, like it's the same. Like every religion points towards the same thing, and religion was really put here to divide us. It's basically religion is kind of the government of spirituality, and like we need to be able to know ourselves what is going on, because if we don't, then we're susceptible to things that we don't even know that we're being spiritually attacked. Like you need to be doing your protection. Like you need to be protecting yourself. You need to, spirit, earth, air, fire, water, and protecting yourself and making sure that you are good, and not worrying about like praying to somebody that you may or may not even think exists, like because ultimately you're praying to your creator, whether that creator is God, Buddha, the spirit, you, an angel, like whatever it is, you have to believe in it. So like that's why your higher self is very important.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much for being on this show today. I really appreciate it. This is
Thank
the second
I'm so
live
nervous.
episode, so
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go
I
ahead.
I'm so like anxious and nervous to even talk about just the little bit that I did. So like I appreciate that y'all appreciate that because it's not something I just like come out and come on TV and like talk about all these experiences. Like I only talk to like a few people about these kind of things. Like it makes me feel weird. So like I appreciate being in a place where it actually makes sense. And
Yeah,
we'll definitely like
definitely.
set up a thing to do more.
Yeah.
I'm
We'll
sorry I'm not
coordinate.
organized. I've just had so much.
I didn't realize you had so much experiences throughout your whole
Yeah.
life. You're kind of like me when it really is like you want to hear my whole life story because it really is a part of my entire life. So let's break this down. Ask me some specifics. So we'll get into that on a personal conversation and bring up some topics next time. But yes, you're
Okay.
definitely welcome back. And
Thank you. Y'all want another episode with me? Y'all want to hear like an organized version of the truths that I don't really get to share like with the world if you guys do. And thank you, Mad Wack, you're awesome. And she said good job, wifey.
thank you, baby. I appreciate that. All right, let's say bye to Saban. Thank
Bye,
you, and I'll see you
friends.
next time. All right, go guys. All right, my ghosts. So that is the episode, second live episode of Let's Talk Ghosts. I will be doing this again in 2 weeks, December 5th, and I'm going to drop that event later today or tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that and get excited for the